Cause you know everybody around this bitch got guns. Hey, see y'all from Texas. We got Beyonce, try the truth, and we can't forget Devin. Big shout out to them boys, and I can't forget back from Texas. I've been feeling like Luca, how about that shit a blessing. Number one rule in Texas, keep it solid, ain't no telling. Hey, and always keep your fucking weapon. A nigga try me or the guys, we got no choice but stretch him. If he survived these shots at first, bet he die on that stretcher. Deep diamonds, I got water, might just go Johnny my next one. Hey, this Texas tea is what I drink. Sauce Walker had us dripping, sauce had the hoes that don't drink. Young Mesa had us jigging, dipping, ain't know how to think. Now I got all these niggas stepping, swiping, catching plays. Hey.
A little I'm from Texas for you by Big X the Plug. I'm starting off with that on this Q&A today. How is everybody doing? How is everyone? Happy Sunday. Alexa, stop playing. How funny, y'all. I said happy Sunday. It's actually Friday. It's Freedom Friday at our house. So this is the day I think that'll be best for me to be able to hop on and do some live interaction and do this Q&A that I've been talking about for a while. So I'm on and it's summertime and clearly I'm in my bikini. And I decided to come on today and present this way for a specific reason because I have a message to deliver before we jump into some of the Q&A here that I've received. So you know how you're going along in the world and you're minding your own business and then somebody comes along and interjects and says something nasty and maybe they really trigger you or really even hurt you. And this could be looked at as something that is disempowering and that puts you in a space of being a victim. In my spiritual understanding and teaching and what I work on with my clients and students who come to me is understanding that these experiences can come into your life and you can alchemize them into something that is positive and beneficial to you. Also, it's like another checkpoint that I always talk about. It's another learning point. These checkpoints that I talk about are these speed bumps along the way in life, right? You'd like everything just to be peaceful, but this is not the way this dimension is designed. We're here to be in a boot camp and it's hard and we get messed up and we have to recover. We have to improvise and adapt and overcome, that famous saying, right? So when this starts happening, it can seem very challenging, but what I'm here to teach you is how to alchemize, right? Change one thing into a complete other and in a way that benefits you, the type of interactions that you receive. So what I received last night at some point was a gentleman who came along. He does not deserve to be called a gentleman, but I will address him this way because I'm respectful and I am a lady. This gentleman came along and decided to DM me and speak on my body directly, letting me know that I'm fat and chubby and that I can't even see clearly because I have to use glasses. So I just need to express to everyone, first of all, that this is not something that bothers me at all anymore. And why? It's because, one, I've been through all kinds of abuse and I can take anything and I'm born with a spirit that can handle anything. But also, I have an authority in my own divine feminine to set very strict boundaries and protect myself. Because why? Because I deserve it. I deserve to be protected. And I deserve to represent myself in the way that I feel I can represent. So this man comes into my DMs and leaves me this information. And I block him, but not without taking screenshots and not without taking the opportunity to work with spirit on this and ask, how can I deliver this to my audience in a way that is beneficial for everyone to see how in a real effective way it is to handle this type of interaction. Okay, so if you're curious on the information, go back and look on my last post, and there you will find the screenshots of the messages I received. And so with that being said, it prompts me to talk about a couple of things. For one, I'm not offended anymore by these types of comments that come from people online because they don't know me. They simply do not know me. And when someone makes a comment about you without even knowing you or what you've been through or your story, it collapses in the field of dysfunction and falsehood. It doesn't carry on. It's not real. It's not real unless other people feed it. And we see this happen with celebrities, right? Or politicians and things like that, where everyone kind of jumps on the bandwagon and then starts feeding this type of energy. That's another thing that you would need to maneuver through spiritually, and I've helped several of my clients do that. It's not easy, but it's totally possible if you know how to do it. So with receiving this information, I took screenshots of it, and I'm going to just talk about myself today because it prompted me to say, oh, people don't know me. I need to start speaking more about who I am. So here it is. Here's a little bit of it. That's why I started off this live with the song Texas by Big X the Plug. I'm from Texas. That's a big thing, a big identifier for me that I'm proud of. And we are people who are very self-reliant, and we will help anyone, and we're very strong. And I'm built like a girl from Texas, okay? Like, I know what I'm working with. I know what I've been working with since I was 10 years old. I've been having to identify, struggle with, and protect my own sexuality. And that is honestly the reality of what all women and girls are facing in this world, and no one's really talking about it the way that we should. This is why it feels really good for me today to sit on here on a live in my bikini in the middle of summer in Texas and feel absolutely comfortable being here in front of you. I do not care. It's interesting that someone sent me comments like this because I went through a weight loss journey back in 21 and lost 50 pounds, 50 pounds. And I've been able to keep that off. But yet still, in someone else's view, I'm chubby or fat or whatever that is. And there's so many layers to unpack here with this. I know I have Q&A to get to with you guys. I don't want to waste a lot of your time. But it's really important to speak on these things because no one else really is. And what I also know is that this individual was a scammer, obviously. I'm trained in these things. I used to be a HIPAA compliance privacy officer. And so that's for medical health care and protection and things like that, but also on the lookout for scammers. And so when I called him out on it, that's when he got extremely offended, because before all of that, it was all, oh, dear, pretty, you're so beautiful, your smile, no. And then once you call someone out on their falsehood, and they're not used to it, especially, they don't know how to handle it. And so they immediately go on the defensive because their biology starts to take over, because they can't even work out of their logical, mental, or even feeling spaces. The biology takes over. They start flipping out. Their nervous system starts reacting in a way that we did when we were primal. What is the one thing when we were cavemen back in the day that we did to protect ourselves when we felt threatened? We started to attack. This is what happens. So if you could take a kind of look at this, you don't really get caught up emotionally or in taking all of this personally. You can see what's happening here on the biological level. And so from that point, I'm able to separate myself from a lot of the things that's coming through, because I do get a lot of hate. It's going to keep coming the more that I'm putting myself out there, because that's just the way that this world works. I have an understanding of that. But here's the thing everyone needs to understand from me. I absolutely love myself 1010% to the core. In every lifetime I've ever been in, and every lifetime I will ever be in, and all of the different bodies I will be having my experience in. And it doesn't matter if we're here Asian, Black, Hispanic, Caucasian, Native American, it doesn't matter. But we're going to all reach a point where we're all blended anyway. I mean, we do kind of realize this, right? I'm actually, yes, I'm very light complected. Don't hold it against me. But I'm actually very mixed. I have Mexican descent, Italian, German, Hungarian, and Native American, Comanche, and Blackfoot. So, but just looking at me, someone might not see all of those layers. But the thing is, we all just need to relax with coming at each other with our projections, because that's what was happening with this individual. And at that point, I just don't engage any further. But what I do, and you will see this continue to happen, because this is the best way to protect your own spiritual sovereignty, is really not to engage, right? So I do appreciate the people who, when I share this information, show up for me in a way that is very protective. I do appreciate it. I really do, that you're doing that on my behalf. But for me, in the seat that I'm in as a spiritual teacher, for me, what I'm having to learn, because I used to be a very defensive, angry person, I would be the first one standing up for other people. There is a current in which it needs to happen for it to be most effective. We don't want to bring everyone down into a messy frequency. So what I like to do is take these circumstances and then just use them to teach. So here I am. So I'm from Texas, like I said, and I am a big girl, and I always have been. And with that, I've had to figure out how to release a lot of shame around my body and my sexuality. As I talked about, I've already had a huge weight loss journey, and that started really when I became a yoga teacher years ago. I think about 10 years ago now. And I was very heavy when I started. This was before my weight loss journey. And this was out in California, y'all, not Texas, where we're thick here and we have stacked racks and says that won't quit. It's not like that out there in California. In fact, the ladies out there get those things put on them in plastic surgery because that's what they want. You know, there's ladies in the gym right now killing themselves doing squats and chest exercises, trying to bulk up their rear ends and their breasts. And that's something that I'm born with naturally. So it's just a way that you think about these things. And also changing the narrative in society, especially among a lot of the men out here and women, because we contribute to this also. And I'm not here to bash men. I'm here to look at the parallels and the balance of both sides. But we need to stop talking about people who have more flesh on them as if they are less than. Because I'll tell you, I've been extremely obese and I've been very thin, and you do get treated differently. But the inside of you is still the same, and you still have the work to do on the inside. Your body will fluctuate, especially as a woman. Your body will fluctuate. You will gain weight. You will lose weight throughout your life. Every stage is sacred. Every stage is sacred. And there is a sickness from men like this who feel that they need to attack in this way that needs to be eradicated. And we do this through speaking to each other and being okay with who we are, because I'm not about to hide. I don't know if y'all have met me ever in my life, but I just have no quit. I'm not going to give up. If I had that programming, I would have left this planet years ago. I'm still here. I'm still building. I'm still creating. I'm teaching. I'm leading, because I made a promise that if I received a body and a voice, that I would use it to liberate others. And so this is one big step for me and for other women and men out there who deal with body issues, that the most powerful thing you can do is absolutely fall in love with yourself, no matter the condition of your physical form. This is huge. This is very huge. Let's settle into that. And I think this is why many of us are walking around with root chakra imbalances, because it goes back to the very beginning and your identity and who you are here. And we're walking around so ungrounded. Also, some issues in the solar plexus with identity, issues in the heart, the worthiness. This stems everything, issues in the throat chakra, because then you feel like you can't speak about your truth and who you are because you're not worthy enough, because you're in a body that's disgusting to people. People don't know your story. They don't know the soul imprints you carry, the energetic imprints you carry, the behavioral imprints that you carry, what your body represents that you are processing spiritually. People can't open their minds to this. a lot of them don't want to. A lot of them want to stay in their nasty box. I want to give credit to the divine masculine who are walking in this earth plane. One of them hugely is my husband. You may not know about him because he doesn't like to be exposed online, but he's getting a little more comfortable, and you'll see some things from him recently. But his name is Kyle. We've been together 10 years and married for 9. And I will tell you that this is a man who came into my life who I picked consciously, because I was in a prior marriage for 7 years that my damaged programming had picked, the trauma bonding, which we'll get into. Actually, we have a great Q&A question on this. But after I came out of that, I made the conscious decision through spirit and work. I was constantly practicing yoga. I was doing cognitive behavioral therapy twice a week for 3 months. And then I tapered off. But I really had the goal to come back for myself in the strongest way that I could, and to be sure that the choices that I made moving forward were in alignment with what was best for me, or what I talk about now as being for your highest good. Same thing, give or take. And through that, I met my husband through divine arrangement, I know. And what I do know about him is that he is strong, open, protective, honest, supportive. And he is all of these things, because what I noticed with him is he comes from a very great family, a set of parents, a mother and father who are beautifully loving, who created a safe home for their children, who gave them great opportunities and made sure that they thrived to be the people that they needed to be, including my husband, who I'm so grateful for. And through our work together in our journey throughout our relationship, we both have really stepped into our eternal roles, so to speak, of what it looks like for me to be a divine feminine in this earth plane, and then for him to step into his divine masculine in this earth plane, and then how we then help and service each other and balance out each other so that we can fully be in our divine positions. This has taken conscious work. This takes something called personal development work. Where are we ever offered much personal development? Because I know we don't get it in school. It's not something that's part of usual college curriculum. Usually it's something you have to go seek out. Many of us receive this in a great way through sports and things, with coaches, and we get some personal development along the way. Maybe we do have some really great teachers in school. But I'm talking about the personal development that you take responsibility for, that you seek out, that you want to heal certain things and certain loops and cycles and things like that. That's something that's really powerful and a way to help us move through our journey. So, in that being said, I'm so grateful that I am matched with and married to a divine masculine, because he creates, here's what divine masculine looks like when it's well represented. Providing for a safe space or container for the masculine to maintain and hold and honor, so then that the feminine in his life can feel safe, to relax. So then the feminine can thrive in her gifts of nurturing, creating, providing in the way of stability and rhythm, the way that the feminine does. And so this is such a beautiful balance when it's activated in between the two. And the two divines, masculine and feminine, honor each other in this way. And it's a beautiful relationship. For example, my husband supports me 1,000%. He sees me, he knows me fully, he knows what I'm capable of, And we've built this business together. Mind you, it's not just me. Yes, I'm the one out here creating, healing, doing, high priestess, yada, yada. But he is the other side of the coin for me in providing the stability, the grounded frequency that I often need after a lot of this work, in providing the safety that I need. Do you know, if you don't know this, I'm going to tell you this, and if you are a woman, this will find some truth in you somewhere. And if you are a man listening to this, it may surprise you. Do you know that most women walk around in this world not feeling safe? Especially these days. We can't even go out for a walk or a jog and enjoy some music without having to worry about being raped. You know? So this is a reality that we need to talk about. And I think the safer that we help each other feel. And some of you may think, well, how can you be a woman on here wearing a bikini with all of this out and then talking about women not feeling safe? Well, don't expose yourself. No, we've got to stop that and collapse that. Control yourself. Don't tell me not to expose myself. Control your damn self. That's the problem with a lot of you. You can't even control your own body. You can't. That is very disturbing to me. That you can be an individual who has urges, but cannot stop and breathe, reason, logic, whatever you got to do to control yourself. That's hard for me to get. That's really hard for me to grasp. Women should be able to walk around. In Europe, women are walking around, beautifully dressed, but a lot less conservative than here. And the body is appreciated, and it's okay. But then here, especially in the States, if you don't look like a certain aesthetic, then all of a sudden you're discounted. That's disgusting. That's a serious problem. And the more divine masculine who step up and allow safe space for a lot of us feminine, we need it so badly. If I talk about it too much, I will cry, because this is a deep wound that is in a lot of the women who come to me, is not ever having had the opportunity to have a safe space in the field of the masculine. It's so important to have good fathers in our lives. I'm so thankful that I've had one and my husband has one, because I know the difference. I've seen it before. I've been in it. And it's so important as well that we have really good mothers who give love to their children and listen to them and have them be seen and give them that innate knowing, or helping them remember and never forget that they are always worthy. Always worthy. Divine masculine and divine feminine, when it looks correct, is the ultimate balance of creation in all ways, in all different ways. If you're in here listening, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining if you've just joined. Please like, follow, and share. Shimmers of Hope, my friend. Taylor, how are you? Thanks for being here. So I'm just going to recap real quick. I know I've been blabbing for a little bit, but I'm on here today. It's summertime in Texas. I'm wearing a bikini because it's hot. Also because I received a message sometime yesterday from a gentleman online who decided to bash me once I called him out for being a scammer and criticize my body. And I just think that at this point, man, I've just been through so much. There's just really nothing anyone can say to me. And I'll tell you this, I probably prefer from this point on to be on here comfortable, not covering myself so much. I'm sick and tired of it. Do I not have permission to be in this body? Also, having gone through a weight loss journey, and then to have someone still tell me this, can give a sensation like, it's still just not ever good enough. But here's the point I want to drive with this in spirituality, with this journey, is that know yourself so incredibly well. I think that's where many of us get shaken when comments like these come at us. Because if you know yourself so incredibly well, there is not one thing anyone can say to you in a public platform or to your face or like a little itch in private in your DMs that is going to shake you. This is also the study of spirituality as a whole, because you study yourself and then you study the different modalities and the dimensions, the different philosophies and concepts and the different cultures and all of this information that you can really dive into that then reflects into yourself. This is what that learning process is really about. That you then have studied so much, you know so much and so many things. You've studied to a point where nothing in this entire universe can shake you, because you know what you know. So I've studied myself so much to this point, nothing is going to shake me. And if something comes out or someone tries to criticize or put a scandal or something like that, I'll just address it first. I'll just address it head on. Because if you do it first, if you expose the scandal first, it's not a scandal, man. If you expose the insecurity first, it's not an insecurity. If you expose the messiness first, whatever it looks like, however it shows up in your life, it's not a mess, because it is an integrated part of you, and you know. So people can't mess with that, and that's really what it feels like to be at center in your spirit. And I can be so confident now as well, because I have crafted my life to be in a way that I am fully in a line with who I am and who I'm meant to be here on this earth plane. I'm fully in alignment with my soul contracts, my destiny mapping, and my dharma. So I'm not really shaken on anything as far as that goes. Okay. Hi, everyone else. Thanks for being here. So let's get into the Q&A. I know I've been chatting for quite a while, but these things need to be addressed, and they come up to me for a reason, and Spirit lets me know when I need to speak on them. So I hope that transmission was something that is helpful to you. Okay. Let's get into, I have a great Q&A here, a question from someone. She just put her name as Kay, right? So Kay, this is for you. It says, is my anxiety really mine, or is it something spiritual? That's a great question, Kay, and very insightful. And what I will say, like with most things, the three component of all things, the triangle represents, I think this is tiered, well, not tiered as importance, but there are three equal parts here, three equal parts that I would like to speak on. So sometimes if you are someone who has gifts and you are able to really feel what other people are feeling, someone goes through a traumatic loss, you can feel their emotions in your body, you begin to sob and cry and drop to the floor, maybe you begin to throw up. Or someone has extremely happy news and your soul soars for them and you feel your heart lift and you dance with joy and tears come out of your eyes because your nervous system is trying to reset that extreme emotion. Because that's what the nervous system does, is when you need to when it needs to like hard reset itself, we need to cry. That's why we cry. That's why it just comes out. That's why please just don't like force yourself, stop crying, because that's your nervous system trying to heal itself and help you. Oftentimes that's you physically storing your trauma and then making it a problem later. Let the emotions flow. Emotions, energy and motion. So getting back to being clairsentient, you are really feeling the things that are going on around you. And it's more than just being an empath. This is like being an empath, but on steroids, y'all. And it can be very overwhelming. And so first layer, if someone else is experiencing extreme anxiety, yeah, you could be picking up on this. Second layer of this is you have so much that you're picking up on and moving through you into your energetic biofield, that it causes overload, and then the body processes it and the nervous system processes it as anxiety. Okay? Fascia, tissues in your body process it as anxiety. So this could be happening too. So if you reflect on that, I think a great way is just to question everything. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Where is it coming from? Is it necessarily mine? So it's really that questioning process that can help you get to the core of things. If you need help with it, let me know. The other part of it, I really think could also be it's not always psychic overwhelm. So don't override your body either. Okay, we have to remember all things in balance. So if you have experienced some kind of trauma, or you go through something that triggers the trauma, that's going to be your natural response, the anxiety. So again, question, where is this coming from? So that way you can then address and heal it. If you need help with that, let me know. And then the last thing I would just say on that is, if you are experiencing a lot of anxiety, often it would be helpful for you to know how to protect yourself spiritually and how to maintain strong spiritual boundaries, like really good fences around your spiritual temple, because fences serve both of us, right? If you have a neighbor, so we'll say there's two neighbors, and they decide to claim property. You put up the fence because they can keep in what they need to keep in and keep out what they need to keep out. You can still have interactions with other people, but your spiritual home temple must have a proper boundary, proper fencing. Okay, call the fence guys. They'll help you out. No, call me. I'll help you identify and implement these different boundaries to help you out. The next question I have here, and this one is from Tazy. Is that how I say that? That's the best I got. I apologize if it's not right. Why do I keep attracting people who drain me even after doing the healing work? You know, this is interesting. Someone asked me this earlier this week, and I put up a video response. It's coming up again, so Spirit says address it again. There's different layers for this. You could, well, first, there's certain lessons and energetic hooks and loops and karmic contracts that we are here to be learning. So if you keep coming into this pattern and into this loop and you're not learning the lesson, it will not release from your field. So when you ask, well, why does this keep happening to me? How do I keep it to stop happening? I don't want it to keep happening. You've got to sit with it and learn the lesson and embody the lesson and say, oh, and allow your spirit to integrate it. People don't give themselves time to integrate the spiritual work that they do often either. So give yourself time to integrate that work and then learn the lesson. And you'll know you've learned it because you'll have this innate sensation of being completely at peace with letting that pattern go and forgiving yourself for repeating that pattern over and over again. So that's one great way you can do that. Also, many times we can find ourselves running into a false healed identity, which and that's so hard, because if we spend so much time doing the work and we really, really want it, and somehow these patterns keep happening to us, it's because it's that embodiment stage that I speak about in the video before. And the embodiment is to literally live in this new way. You have all of this knowledge. Now implement it and apply it to your life and live out in this new way. It's not going to look like what you've done before. It's not going to feel like what you've done before. Your nervous system is going to fight it. Your brain's going to fight it. Your gut's going to fight it. Your emotions and everything, because it is uncomfortable and unfamiliar. But breathe, take the steps, coach yourself with love through the transitions, and make them small is my recommendation. Nothing's going to happen all at once, and take it from there. Take it from there. Start implementing all of these things you've worked so hard to know. And oftentimes it can feel like spiritual and mental overload. How do you heal this? start to get it out, start to live it, start to live it, start to talk to people about it. Start a business, start a YouTube channel, a TikTok, or whatever. Okay. Then another place that anxiety can really come from that I do want to mention, because I've experienced this and so do many of my clients, is that when you are doing conscious spiritual work and you are achieving these wonderful soul upgrades, which is the purpose, the body needs to catch up to the work that the soul and spirit are integrating and doing. And so these soul upgrades will require higher boundaries, right? Higher spiritual boundaries to keep what you've got going on very sacred and to keep you in integrity along your path moving forward, so that you don't become blocked and held back. So that's another thing to look at. Let's hit one more question for today, for today's Q&A. I've got several more, but I do have to hop off to spend time with my son. It is Freedom Friday, and we are going to head to the pool and have a good time. So the last one here I'm going to get to is, are soulmates even real, or are we just going to trauma bond and calling it divine? This is from Sasha. Okay, are soulmates even real, or are we just trauma bonding and calling it divine? I love this question. I love it because it's insightful on your end, definitely, and calling out the core truth, because we do need to drop the illusion. Many of us, I know many women, there's a lot of y'all out there, and this was my first marriage, who get into the trauma bonding and you are just in it till death. Yeah, like you are just really so absolutely committed to the bond there, and there's no other aspect of balance or love or health or growth within the relationship. And so that's really something to look at and reflect on, because it takes conscious work, okay? Especially if you come from a programming or a culture background that teaches you that you are here as a woman to come and rescue people and fix them. And if you see something that you know is a trauma for you and them, and you think, well, we can relate and we'll work on this together and we'll be able to fix this, it's not your job. Again, personal development is the key to everything here. Doing your own work is so important, so that then you can align with the right type of people, so that then you can be in a place where you have a peaceful relationship. And not only that, but then that you can build together, because that's what we're here to do with our relationships. Is, yes, of course, to express love and nurturing and stability and all of these things, and to have children if that's your desire, but really to come together in forces and create, and to do something wonderful that's beneficial for the world, and that's beneficial for each partner within the relationship in the long run, with the transition of energy back and forth and creating with it. So, and again, this is another thing that can get into some soul contracts that you have with some people, or karmic loops. Again, those are about the lessons that you're here to learn. So, and that, again, those will keep repeating. If you don't actually learn the lessons, they'll keep coming back to you, because this is just the current of the way Spirit teaches us. And once it is learned, then it can be released. Oftentimes, I do think many of us, men and women, spiritual bypass our own intuition and then call it love, which is a mistake. If you know someone is just not in alignment for you, they're not bringing to the table what you're needing, you're constantly fighting. Hello, that's a big indicator. You're constantly not being heard. The behavior doesn't change. It's like, don't wait until you're 10 years into the relationship to then decide to speak up about it and do something that you can actually put your foot down and get some real change. And if you don't, then that is your answer to then move on. A lot of people ask for the change and it's talked about, but then the next, month or whatever, a week, you're having the same conversation. That is your answer. The action is your answer. So then you can make the decision off of that. So you've got to stop spiritual bypassing what you're feeling and seeing from what is being told to you. Have your own discernment and your own programming, and stop depending on the people around you or your partner to tell you what is happening here. Tune into your own intuition and stop spiritual bypassing yourself. That's what that is. When you go, no, maybe that's not right, or that's just me doing this or that, or no, you need to honor what you were feeling. That is what leads to a lot of our suffering. And I think it's also important to recognize when you find someone that is in a good alignment for you, a good soul union, because oftentimes it might not feel like anything you felt before. And it might not be a big, huge, dramatic, heart pull type of thing. That's a trauma bond kind of feel, honestly. What it may feel like is a sense of stability or peace that is a little unsettling to you, because your nervous system has never recognized relationships in that way. That's why, again, the personal development is so important, so that you can draw on that and understand that, knowing yourself so well that the people who come into your experience, if they're going to contribute to you or not, if they're going to add value to your experience or not, if they're not adding value to your experience, they don't have to be taking up your energy. It's that simple. It's really that simple. So those are the 3 questions I think I'm going to get to for today's Q&A. My name is Solari. I am a modern day spiritual teacher. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a system disruptor. I have my own business. I've had it for 10 years now. I've started off being a yoga teacher, got into Reiki, got into sound, got into channeling, got into then also deeper psychic work, Akashic records, soul mapping, destiny contracts, things like this. Now I see people who come to me who are ready for some healing, and then also to go the next level and ascend or awaken. Perhaps they have certain goals, perhaps they have business goals, personal family goals, but whatever they're wanting to work on takes this type of spiritual personal development, is what I really do. And so if you're interested in any of this, please feel free to inbox me. I also am the author of the book, The Sacred Undoing. It was released back in May. It is out on Kindle, and you can download it right now. It is how high performers break, heal, and rise. So this is for all of my high performers out there, or all of my caregivers, or all of the seekers too, the people who are ready for understanding a new way and returning to yourself and remembering who you are. For people who are good at everything in their lives and have checked all of the boxes but still don't feel whole, this book is for you. You can get it right now, like I said, and you can visit my website if you would like to look at the different offerings I have. I offer different sessions, and then I also offer mentorship and education through my spiritual school that I've established called Shiloh Drive. So if any of this sounds good to you, please be sure to reach out to me. Other than that, enjoy your summer, enjoy your family, enjoy life, enjoy yourself, and have an amazing day.